A helicopter spiraled into palm trees by a crowded bridge, 5 hospitalized, and videos flooding phones. Maya presses for community safety. Leo dissects the forensics. I'll sort viral panic from verified facts and explain why this crash could change how public events keep you safe. Official story versus what the crowd saw on their phones. A helicopter spirals, something flies off, it slams into palm trees near a crowded bridge. Tonight, we pull apart the facts and the fear, and what still does not add up.
People on the beach heard an odd sound, then chaos. Kids crying, parents scrambling. A witness said a boy dropped his sand toys and was bawling. This is not just a glitch in a machine, this is a systems failure around safety.
And in the middle of that panic, you had folks online saying, "No way, it must be fake. It was very real." But so is the danger of instant conclusions. Let's breathe before we hang blame on guesses.
Here is the verified timeline. Just after 2 p.m. Saturday, a Bell 222 arriving for cars and copters began spinning and descended near the Hyatt pedestrian bridge along Pacific Coast Highway. It struck palm trees and a stairwell. First responders arrived fast. Officials confirmed 5 hospitalized, 2 aboard and 3 pedestrians, including a child. The highway was closed from Huntington Street to Beach Boulevard.
Hazmat teams from Huntington Beach and Anaheim rolled in. Bystanders saw foam on the ground. Some reported what looked like fuel leaking. No post-crash fire, which is a blessing. But it was still a hazardous scene.
From above, a news chopper described foam, hazmat staging, the fuselage wedged between trees and a stairway. He said the cabin did not look crushed, amazingly. That squares with folks rushing in to pull survivors.
The aircraft, a dual turboshaft Bell 222 cosmetically linked to the Airwolf TV show. Owner and pilot identified as Eric Nixon. His father-in-law says he has broken ribs and crushed vertebrae, but survived. Nixon's social posts said pilot and passengers are safe. The FAA and NTSB were notified. An NTSB investigator was headed to the scene. City officials asked people to avoid the area while crews worked.
Now the public narrative. Multiple videos show the chopper spinning, then a piece flying off. You can hear, "Oh my God," over and over. One witness said, "Pop, pop," then it went down. Another. It was spinning weird, then faster, then crashing.
A pilot on scene told reporters Nixon sacrificed the helicopter into the palms to avoid cars and people. If true, that is heroic decision-making in seconds. Let's not miss that amid the viral dread.
We also heard from a council member. They awaited hospital updates. A local crew noted people running toward the wreckage, one person carrying the injured child. The scene looked controlled once foam went down and tape went up.
But why were helicopters maneuvering low over a crowd at all? Witnesses and photographers said flybys near the beach. If the second one was already spinning weird, why continue near spectators? That's a planning failure.
Hold on. Cars and copters is a known event. Privately owned helicopters fly in, land, folks look. The news pilot said the Bell dropped from around the tops of the palms, maybe 20 feet or so above them. Close in ops, yes, but not stunt work.
Close-in ops over people is exactly the issue. Proximity multiplies risk. You could see shrapnel or debris catapulting toward the hotel and across the highway, according to bystanders. That perimeter was not safe enough.
We also need to remember, no post-impact fire, fast extraction, highway closures. The system did work in the response phase. Let's fix what failed without nuking community events on fear alone.
Evidence conflicts. Some say the tail rotor snapped. Others just saw an object depart. A CBS analyst said investigators will look at tail rotor failure given the yawing spin. The precise sequence is not established yet. On injuries, officials confirm 5 hospitalized, including a child. A third-party crowdfunding claim about a collapsed lung and brain bleed remains unverified. We are not airing that as fact.
Another gap, federal messaging. A public info officer auto-replied about a funding lapse. Mixed signals, local says FAA and NTSB are on it, but automated out-of-office emails do not inspire confidence mid-crisis.
To be fair, the agencies still investigate. Auto-replies are bureaucracy doing what bureaucracy does. On the ground, hazmat from 2 departments showed up. The job got done while Twitter debated tail rotors.
Let's talk design and age. The Bell 222 dates to 1980, seats a pilot, and up to 8 or 9, uses 2 turboshaft engines. Age alone does not equal failure, but maintenance history will matter.
And culture matters. Airwolf branding, flybys, crowd appeal, these encourage spectacle. If organizers don't buffer the audience with distance and altitude, they're trading safety for content. TikTok should not set the safety bar.
Spectacle is not a crime. The key is rules and pilot judgment. From what we heard, Nixon aimed for trees, not people. That is textbook airmanship when you lose anti-torque control. He ate the machine to save lives.
A quick recap before we broaden out. We have a crash near a landing party, 5 injured, no fire, possible fuel leak, quick response, and conflicting accounts on what part failed. The investigation will sort the sequence.
Broader impact. Permitting for events putting aircraft over people must change. Mandate larger sterile zones, stricter approach paths, independent safety officers with veto power and real-time wind and mechanical checks.
And broader perspective, thousands attend these things without incident. We can enhance margins without treating pilots like villains or banning the show. Personal responsibility plus realistic risk. Both can live together.
Look, 3 pedestrians got hurt, including a child. Debris crossed Pacific Coast Highway. That's not an acceptable baseline. If a tail rotor or whatever failed, the buffer needs to account for that worst case, not the ideal script.
I hear you, but let's avoid hindsight theater. The news pilot said the door windows looked intact. That suggests a controlled crash into the trees, not a blind plummet. The perimeter failed to be perfect, not non-existent.
Organizers said Sunday's main event remained planned. They posted thoughts and prayers. That decision, press on versus pause, will be debated. It reflects confidence, or tone deafness, depending on your vantage point.
Pressing on hours after 5 hospitalizations, that signals normalization of risk. Pause the show, cooperate fully, release safety plans publicly, and explain the buffer that was supposed to protect that child. That's accountability.
I'd take a middle course, continue only after an immediate safety stand-down, fresh briefings, and adjusted landing profiles. People did show courage. Bystanders ran toward the wreckage. That community spirit matters too.
On cause, we have hypotheses. Tail rotor failure, given the yawing spin, a component separating in flight, or another mechanical fault. Videos will be frame by framed by NTSB. Maintenance logs and parts history are key.
And one more systemic point, coordination gaps. An automated federal email during an active crash is not ideal. Cities shoulder the load, but they need federal clarity fast. Crisis comms are a safety asset, not a courtesy.
Media note, looped crash clips magnify panic. I get why people said that has to be fake. It looked cinematic, but the work now is slow. Measure blades, inspect gearboxes, not dramatic. Patience is the grown-up response.
Witness details that stood out. A popping sound before descent, a piece falling away, and the aircraft rotating as it dropped. Together, those point investigators toward anti-torque systems, but they do not prove it.
And the human details. People yelling, "Oh my God," some sprinting to help, a child carried away. For me, that cements the ethical floor. If you invite a crowd, you owe them more than luck and heroism when metal fails.
Ethical floor should include honoring the pilot's split-second choice. If he truly aimed for the palms to avoid people, that saved lives. That is the ethos you want at events like this, alongside better buffers.
One more recap to bridge to next steps. Facts are stable. 5 injured, no fire, fuel concerns addressed, highway closures, federal and local probes, and unresolved questions on what detached and why the spin began.
Policy fixes I want to see before any future landing party. Larger sterile areas, altitude gates on approach, crowd setbacks, and an independent safety boss empowered to wave off landings over the crowd. No exceptions.
Add pilot briefings, stressing abort criteria and treeline escape routes. Keep the event, cut the margin of error. We do risk in society every day. The goal is smarter risk, not zero fun or zero helicopters.
We will watch for NTSB's preliminary report, which typically lands within weeks. Expect a technical read, rotor assembly, drivetrain, controls, and environmental factors. Video and eyewitness accounts will be cross-checked.
And I will watch for transparency from organizers and the city, release of the safety plan, approach diagrams, who approved flybys near the crowd, and any prior mechanical write-ups on that airframe.
I'm also curious whether social media makes people run toward wreckage faster now. That rush helped here, or it could have hurt. Maybe the safety briefings need a do not approach protocol for bystanders too.
For listeners who were there, your videos and vantage points matter. Investigators use angles to triangulate part separation and spin rate. If you recorded safely from a distance, consider sharing with authorities.
And if you are that family with the injured child, we see you. I do not want your pain buried under hashtags. Policy changes should center your experience, not clout chasing.
Credit where due. First responders had that scene stabilized fast. Foam down, fuel contained, highway closed, crowd kept back. That competence is why 5 injured was not 50.
As for the Bell 222's reputation, Airwolf lore aside, this will come down to a specific mechanical path, not TV nostalgia. Age, modifications, and maintenance intervals will weigh heavily.
And I will keep asking why the event stayed greenlit for Sunday. Symbolic pauses matter. They show that people take injury and uncertainty seriously, not as costs of doing business on a sunny weekend.
Or they show confidence in the process and respect for the many who planned and attended. A stand-down briefing could have threaded that needle. We will see what they chose and why.
We will close here, but next episode, we aim to speak with an NTSB veteran and the event's safety lead. We will ask about tail rotor diagnostics, crowd buffers, and what videos reveal frame by frame.
And whether cities will harden standards for aviation near pedestrians, not just hope for hero pilots. Because hope is not a safety plan.
And whether the pilot's split-second choice gets the credit it deserves. In a bad minute, someone likely saved lives. That matters too.
Send us your questions and any footage to our team. We will keep to the facts, challenge the gaps, and follow the data wherever it leads. Stay with us.